Hello and welcome to 8-Bit Orc, where today we'll be doing an old-fashioned face-off between digital and physical games. As a longtime gamer, I've managed to amass a huge collection of both digital and physical games. This past generation, Xbox and PlayStation have both given us the ability to opt out of physical games altogether. The PlayStation 5 Digital Edition, as well as the Xbox Series S, both come at a reduced cost, so it might be tempting to go all digital this generation. With the PlayStation 5, you're looking at the exact same hardware, with the exception of the disc drive of course, for $100 less. With the Xbox Series S, you're looking at half the hard drive space, as well as a pared down GPU, to go along with no disc drive. In both cases, you're going to save a pretty penny if you go with the all digital edition. Both companies are providing incentive to move to an all digital future. The reason for this is simple: profit. When you buy a game from a retail store, it had to be produced in a factory somewhere and shipped overseas usually, and then you have to put a markup on it so the store can make money as well. When you buy digitally, the cost to send it to you in comparison is almost nothing, and the money is simply split between the digital store and the game developer. The exact portion changes from store to store, but the majority usually goes to the developer. This allows for the potential of cheaper games you could ever expect from the physical store. However, in practice, this isn't the case. If you take a look online at prices, you'll find that often physical discs will be cheaper than the digital counterparts found in stores. I find the prices are often back and forth, so I always check to see which one's cheaper on any particular day. There's no clear winner when it comes to the price between digital and physical games. I'm talking of course exclusively about console games, as PC games, physical has been dead for quite a while. The first advantage of digital of course is that it's nearly instant. You see a game on the store, and you have it downloading in a matter of seconds. Rather than having to drive to a store, listen to try and sell me some kind of stupid warranty, even if I buy it online through the latest and greatest delivery service, the best they can do is deliver it the next day. For new games, you can even pre-download them. You'll be ready to play it on release. Although I've never really had it work that way as it's supposed to. Campaign is not downloaded. I pre-downloaded everything. Oh my god. Another great thing about digital games is that, well, they're not physical, as in they don't take up any physical space. When you first buy a console and you get a game for it, you're like, wow, pretty tiny, doesn't take up too much space. And then you buy a few more and you're like, oh, you know, still, even person with the smallest apartment is going to be able to put all these games in them, no problem. But then, you know, a few decades later, you've got shelves full of games. And they actually do start to take up a pretty substantial amount of space. With digital, it's all just in a little tiny hard drive. And often in the cloud, so you don't even need that. Digital games also have the advantage that you can switch between them without having to get up and change the disc. It's not a huge deal, but it is much faster. Another advantage to digital games is they go wherever you go. If I went over to a friend's house and he was like, hey, I want to play that new Spider-Man game. And I was like, hey, I have that game, but I bought it on disc. So I got to run home, pick it up, and then bring it back. Or I could just log into my account and download it digitally while I'm sitting there. So in theory, that should be faster as long as I remember the password. But I probably won't, so it's really up in the air which one will be less frustrating. So as long as you have fast internet, buying digitally should be a lot faster here. If you're buying an all-digital console, you better have fast internet. In the past, physical games also had a big advantage that you could just pop the disc in and start playing right away. That's not really the case anymore. Almost all games require to go through a lengthy install, and it'll probably require a patch as well. You're going to be stuck waiting no matter whether you're buying digital or physical. Physical games generally still have an advantage in this territory, but it's relatively slim. Like I just loaded up God of War. It was playable within 4 minutes and 56 seconds on physical, and 5 minutes and 8 seconds when I did it digitally. Physical games still have a few huge advantages. For instance, the ability to easily lend or resell your games. Sony really stuck it to Microsoft last generation with this video.
This is how you share your games on PS4. Thanks.
Microsoft ended up looking like real fools and had to do a complete turnaround on all their plans for a digital future. When you buy a physical game, you actually own a copy. When you buy digital, it's just on a service somewhere in the cloud. If that service goes down or out of business, or just decides to shut down its servers, you could lose access to all your games. And it really is a matter of when, not if it's going to happen. It's only a matter of time. For instance, they've already shut down the stores and the ability to re-download games, the original Xbox as well as the Nintendo Wii console. And it seems like the 360 and PlayStation 3, as well as the PlayStation Vita, aren't far behind. With physical discs, this shouldn't be an issue. As long as you take care of your games, they should last a really long time. I hope my grandkids are able to play these games. They won't want to, but I'm going to make them. The hardest part about playing these older games is going to be finding a working console and not the discs. Thankfully, Xbox has done a great job with backwards compatibility. This shouldn't be an issue anytime soon. When it comes to PlayStation 3, well, I got 3 of them, so I'm hoping that'll last me. There really is something to be said about the tangibility of a physical game. You can take it off your shelf, you can open it up, You can smell it. Oh, you know that smell. And proudly display it. When considering whether to go all digital this generation, it really wasn't a hard decision. If you're the type of person who buys games regularly, you're going to find games cheaper physically from time to time, and you'll recoup the initial investment pretty quickly. When it comes to games I want to collect, I'm even willing to pay a little bit more for the physical copy of the game. Although if I'm offered a steep discount, I'll buy the digital version, and then probably buy the physical version later when it becomes cheaper. I really do hope physical games stick around, although I'm quite sure they'll eventually be wiped out by digital games, as well as subscription services such as Game Pass. But until that dark day, I'm going to hold on tight and keep buying physical games. How do you feel in the war between digital and physical games? Which console did you pick up this generation? And was there any points that I missed? Please let me know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.